Welcome to the First Lady Point of View show, everyone. I'm your host, normally First Lady Felicia K. In case you haven't noticed, we're doing things a little different today. I'm going to be sitting on the receiving end of the questions per your request, and we're going to talk a little bit about me and what you can expect from season 4. So stick around. After this break, we're going to get right into it.
First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View.
Hey, First Lady, how you feeling today?
Hey, Queen, how are you? I'm well.
I figured that we could start with telling everybody where you're from.
All right, well, I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. My family is from Georgia, though. We're from Georgia. I spent my childhood summers going back to Georgia, but I was raised in Sacramento, Meadowview to be exact. And of course, you know, once your parents move up in the world, the paper get right, you move to Green Haven, right? Or I would say, you know, in my time, Meadowview wasn't like really a poor area. Once it started digressing is when we moved to Green Haven. So yeah, that's a little bit about where I'm from. It's layered, if you will.
Okay. Where did you first find your passion for journalism? Is that where you started, or were there other lanes you were dipping into?
Well, as far as journalism, journaling in general, I was a kid. I was probably in the 5th grade, about 10 years old, when I started regularly writing down my thoughts and my goals for myself, for my life, and events around me. I didn't realize at the time that I was embarking on journalism, though. I didn't realize that until after. My cousin Tiffany said to me one day, "You're gonna be famous at this. Like, you always journaling." And I said, "Huh?" Like I said, I didn't really realize that's what it was. And she said, "Yeah, you're gonna be famous at this one day. You always journaling stuff, and you're gonna make a career out of that. I see that for you." Mind you, at that time, even though I had a passion for it, at that time, I thought I was gonna be a rapper.
Yes.
Okay, 5th grade, I thought I was gonna be a rapper. You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be a rapper in the 5th grade. But yeah, so my passion for journalism was about 10 years old, writing songs and journaling and
So you don't just only do journalism, you're also in the radio field. You've done some red carpet work. So how did you get into some of that?
Radio, we kind of put the carriage in front of the horse, if you will, for me. Just to kind of double back with your first question about the journaling, I was doing some work with Lauren Reed and LWR Production. We were put together by a mutual friend that's in the field of production. I was doing work for Sacramento Magazine and a major blog out of Southern California. I was doing music and reviews, and we was put together, Lauren Reed and I, and he was wanting to do a pilot, to pitch his pilot from a producer's aspect.
Right.
And I was tapped to be the host of that. So that's how, like I said, the carriage came before the horse, as far as I went right into TV. And then after he moved on to Hollywood and started working with the Denzel Washingtons and things of that nature, and he actually ended up being Emmy nominated too. So shout out to Lauren Reed. I could say he was my mentor, if you will, but when he did that, I was reached out to, because I was kind of like in a funky place, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? You know, when he moved on, although I was happy for him and he offered me all these resources and told me that it was important that I learn what I know now that got me to being a host, like the behind the scenes, the productions and all that stuff.
All the moving parts, right.
Yeah, all the moving parts, because the lesson in that was, so if anybody on my team ever moved on, I would still be able to assemble what I needed to make my thing still go.
Right.
So I'm forever grateful for that. But back to your question, that's how radio came into play. Was I guess you could say when the roof collapsed on that, I knew I had to do something to keep my feet wet, right? Yeah. Because by then I was getting motion. And then once you get in that motion, you know, especially in this field, you got to grab that. You know, you got to make that do what it do. And I was reached out to from Dino Hassel at LA Talk Live in Los Angeles, through Mother Love from Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you guys know her. She was an iconic figure on Saturday Night Live back in the day. She was a talk show host, a stand-up comic. They offered me if I wanted to come out there and mentor under her and be under radio. And I'm like, heck yeah, what do I got to do? So I did that. And when I did that, the relationships that I made with Lauren Reed, when I was out doing interviews, a lot of those were artists, like the Too Shorts, the Yuck Mouths, the Lee Majors, the Drew Downs, the Thomas Raccoons, the Marlon, you know, so I reached to those people and I'm like, yeah, hey, they gave me this spot, and if I do well with this, I'm gonna get my own permanent radio spot. Would you guys be down to come and be a guest on my show? And being that, you know, I made good relationships with that, they was all like, yeah, we got you. So they did that, and that led to me being able to premiere music for them, break records.
Right.
Mind you, you know, I was just getting my feet wet. I've always been in tune with music. I've always loved music. I knew good music. I knew talent. So by that being something that I knew I could do, I started capitalizing on that with my radio show. I would incorporate my knowledge for music with the journalism, winning them over, if you will.
Seems like you really know your stuff. It's like people can come to you for a clear review of what's going on.
Exactly, and I take pride in that. It's humbling though. It's real humbling, especially like, how do I say? I'm just a girl from the hood, right? I'm a girl from the hood. Now, don't get me wrong. People like you know, I come from a stand-up, well-to-do family, but I am in touch with, and I'm from the hood for the most part, right? I'm the homegirl. So it's humbling when you get to that point where you have people like Master P and Jim Jones, and when you're interviewing these people in Compton, Minutes, you got major people saying, you know what, First Lady, I respect your opinion in music. People respect your opinion in music. I'm going to send you an exclusive. I want you to break this record.
Yes.
Then you start looking at it like, oh, wait, I could do this. Now, most people will say, what does that have to do with journalism? Everything. Meaning, if I could tap into that, something that I know I'm good at, right? I could use that to strengthen me in this thing that I want to do, but I'm not so good at it yet.
Right.
And so the two worlds kind of collided, and it just worked for me. Most people, like I said, they do it vice versa. You get the radio, you get comfortable, you behind the scenes, and then you go to the front. Me, the carriage was before the horse, but I wasn't that comfortable because I wasn't knowledgeable. And like I said, the way I describe it is like I felt like that is my true transparency. I felt like the roof caved in on me when the producer I was working with moved on.
Right.
That's just, I'm gonna be honest. Most people probably would say, oh, well, you know, you just pick up and no, I was in a dark place after that.
Yeah, but what a way to transition.
Yeah, thank you.
And look
I
at you
appreciate
now.
that. I appreciate that.
That brings me to my next question. So when did the idea for the show start? How did you get into even creating the First Lady Point of View show?
The idea for the show, it came about with that experience with Lauren Reed. I knew that I wanted to still do something along those lanes, but I got real comfortable with the radio thing. But I kept the name, the brand's sake. Trademarked it. I kept the brand's sake because I knew I would keep using that in the long run, right? So I was told about Access Sacramento from Lauren Reed about going to sharpen my tools or whatever. So in the process of doing that, and then Dina from LA Talk Live offered me resources to get the education and to get my actual credentials, my degree in journalism, and to take engineering courses so I can engineer my own radio program. So we put all of those things together. Well, at least that's what I did. And I just always had in the back of my mind, all these tools will eventually come to the front line, and my long game will be I will get that television show.
And
I
here
will
we
get
are.
that.
Right.
Yes. And so I just kept building on that. And then a couple of years ago, Carlos Hernandez from Access Sacramento, he tapped me one day and said, "Are you still interested in doing a television show?" Because I'm still actively working radio at this time, but always with that in the back of my mind. When my time come, I'm ready. It's on go. And he tapped me and asked me would I be willing to, was I ready to start my show? I'm like, heck yeah. He was all like, well, I think, we mixing stuff up down at Access and we got new management and I think this will probably be a good time for you to capitalize on that. And so here we are. We started putting it together and through trial and error, we got the right recipe, what will be a good crew for me. And we took off with it. And here we are going into season 4.
Right. So I was just going to mention we've got 3 dope seasons. Now we're coming up on season 4. What can people expect to see? Because as we can see, you're a fashionista. You're always serving looks. And so what else are you highlighting? Are there some new things coming up?
You know what? Yeah, I'm not going to give away too much for season 4. But what I will say is this. Thanks to people like yourself and Marcus, and we got Jada. We got so many people that help put it together. Imani, we got Gabby as a part of the crew now. We're gonna bring more layers, with more team players, more ideas, just more creative geniuses, if you will, that's a part of the team. I have more outlook as to what people are desiring, the need, what's going on. So for season 4, what I wanna do is go back to what I originally was doing when I started the camera aspect, the television aspect with LWR Productions. We were in the field more. So with season 4, I do intend to get more in the field, get more beef footage as to what's going on in the community and things of that nature. But I also, we will be highlighting local talent as well. We'll have some live sets. We had a stand-up comic already for season 4. No, that was season 3. We teased that to let you know. Let me back that up. That was a teaser for season 4, and I think we highlighted that on that episode that this is what you can expect for season 4. So we will have like stand-up sets. We'll have live like talent, singers, comedians, bands, you name it. We're gonna try to get that in here and accommodate you all and just, continue to capitalize on that and do more fashion elements. I always wanted to bring that to the forefront as far as highlight fashion. Like I want people to show me what you got on,
Right.
and who is that by? We doing some Hollywood. Like, who are you wearing today?
Yeah.
I want to bring that to the forefront. I believe that when you look good, you feel good. And I also believe that dressing well is a form of good manners. Tom Ford said that, and so did Coco Chanel. And I believe that when you're coming to settings like this, it's just, it's a good thing. And I want people to be able to highlight that, especially, some of these people come in and they put it together themselves and they do a good job. So I want that to be highlighted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I want to bring to it.
I love hearing about all this growth, everything you have planned.
Thank you.
Where do you think you see the show in 5 years?
5 years from now, originally, 5 years from now, I was supposed to be behind the scenes of the First Lady Point of View show, and one of my daughters would be the host, right? They got other things going on. Both of them are probably more successful in their lane right now than me, okay? So
Which
they
is
don't-
always the goal.
Yeah,
right?
which is always the goal. They are very active behind the scenes with what's going on with me. But 5 years from now with the show, what I would like to see happen is just continue to grow and highlighting the underdog. That's always been my goal. I will bring in more celebrity elements, if you will. But I'm going to try to do that in season 4. That's the goal. But 5 years from now, I definitely want to continue to highlight the underdog. But I also, as far as the show, I want to see the show be more in the field, be more without red carpet and things of that nature, not just locally. Like I said,
Right.
even though we're going to do some beef footage and local things in the field season 4, but 5 years from now, I want to move around with the show like I do with radio. When I'm working in the field and working BET experience and things of that nature, I'm covering that for radio, right?
Right.
And for this show, I want to be able to do that for television. I want to use my credentials and my show to highlight those aspects. Yeah.
Right. So we've talked about the show. We've talked about upcoming plans. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about where you
Ah.
see yourself personally in 5 years.
5 years from now, I plan on kicking back with my feet up, making most of my content and my money from home, right?
Right.
Ideally, that would be what I want to do. But now, all jokes aside, I'm a hands-on girly. I do like the creative process of all of this. I could probably get away with personally never being on camera again in my life and
Right.
working behind the scenes. You know me personally, so you know that my happiest and my most gratifying process of all of this is when I am behind the scenes.
Right.
I love that. That's what brings me joy. So 5 years from now, I do plan on writing and producing and directing short film and television series for other people. That is my goal, is to be able to highlight others that want to go into this field or who are already in this field but want to be in front of the camera. Maybe you got somebody that's like, I know that I'm meant to be on TV, but I don't want to do the creative part. I don't know how to do the creative part. Some people are just strictly talent.
Right.
Some of us, we can be talent and we can be behind the scenes. And I want to highlight those. I want to be the person that is there for the person that don't have an interest in doing that. They want to be the talent. And I want to make sure that they shine to their fullest potential, and just bring my knowledge of the field to them and create and just help them just grow in that aspect. And like I said, and just write and produce good film and television. That's what I want to do.
I
5
think
years
it's so
from now.
important that you touched on that, because as much as you might not view yourself as someone that loves to be in front of the camera, you are making it work. It's coming out so well, and I think all the people are truly inspired by everything that you've been doing.
Thank you.
I would like to now just touch on how people can get a hold of you, get in touch with you, get a feel for how they can get on the show, how they can get involved. Where can they find that information at?
Okay. As far as getting in touch with me personally or getting involved with what I have going on, I'm going to just say me, the public figure, 1stLADY Felicia K, that's number 1, lowercase st, capital LADY, FELICIA, capital K, 1stLADY Felicia K. You can like the public figure page on Facebook, and you can also follow 1stLADY_Felicia_K on Instagram, okay? Now, what you're going to see on the screen is how you can get involved with the show. And that is, you could go to the 1stLADY Point of View show on Facebook. Make sure you like and subscribe to that page. You'll get regular content. You'll know how to get involved. You can send a message. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not the one that runs those pages, but I do see things, especially if it's something that's addressed to me. The show's producer, Imani, she makes sure she sends those things to me right away. But if you're interested in being on the show, that's one way you can do it. You can contact us that way. You can also follow the 1stLADY Point of View show on Instagram, okay? That's another way of going about it. And then you could send us an email at 1stLADYPointofViewShow@gmail.com. And when you send that email, you just say guest inquiry in the subject, and she'll get back at you right away. We'll find out what you got going on and find out how and where you fit in our format. Most people fit into what we have going on, but sometimes it just might not be a good fit, you know? And if it's not, I'll pass you along to somebody that where you can be highlighted to your fullest potential. But as far as outlets, as far as like local talent, things of that nature, nonprofits, survival groups, activists. We're here for all of that. You know,
Right.
like I said, I'm rooting for the underdog, but that's how you can get involved with those things. And yeah, we're here for you, so make sure you tap in with us. And we have a TikTok too. I don't know how to use it, but I'm getting better. You can follow us on that as well. And that's the 1stLadyP.O.V. And our website is also the 1stLadyP.O.V.com.
Okay. Well, I'm just so glad we got to sit down,
Me
share a
too.
little bit more about you. And I just want to say, is there anything, you know, you always drop these little gems on us that stick. So is there any last minute, you know, words you have for the...
Well, you know what? I just want to say this. Be authentic, be true to you, and find your people, your audience, right? A lot of times we lose ourselves in trying to do what we think everybody else wants. And I feel like if you're authentic and you're genuine, you'll attract who you're supposed to be catering to. And I want to leave people with that. And as far as my guests are concerned, I really don't have anything that I could say about that other than I am truly blessed. And I've been fortunate that all my guests seem to love what I do, right? I've never, we're going into season 4, I have not had a guest yet that did not reach out and tell me, you made me feel so comfortable. I love your crew. You guys are a great team. And that's what it's all about for me. So, and I said that to say this, and that's because I decided to be true to me.
Right.
You know, and that's what I'll leave people with. If you be organic and you let it come to you, you'll reap more fruit from that. Because when it's forced and you all over the place and you're trying to please everybody, you'll start to not love it as much.
Right.
And when you don't love it, that translates, and your guests will know it, and they won't have a good experience.
Yeah.
And I'll also say, make sure you stay in tune with your guests. All your guests are different, right? So you can't go at each guest the same way. You have to cater to who you're dealing with. So just make sure you kind of know who you're dealing with and move accordingly. And then just be genuine and mindful, like compassionate to the underdog, the person coming behind you. You know, be compassionate to that. And yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, Ms. First Lady. Well, we can't wait to see what season 4 brings and beyond.
No, me too.
And
I'm
thank you so
excited.
much again for sitting down with me.
I want to thank you too. And if you don't mind, I want to thank my crew, yourself, Marcus Jackson Sr., we got Jada, we got so many, Matthew. It's so many. I don't want to forget anybody. We got Gabrielle Hernandez. We got, well, you guys might know her as Gabby. We got Imani. We got Marlisha Coleman, Mariah. It's just so many people behind the scenes that make it work. And I wanted to acknowledge them because all my guests acknowledge them, right? So it's only right that I do the same thing and just let them know that you are appreciated and I'm grateful, and I know that the machine would not run without all the moving parts. And yeah, I'm just grateful for that, and just thank everybody. If I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. And although, I mean, I could tap out to him, we talk and he's supportive, but although he's not in the studio firsthand, a part of the actual production team anymore, I do want to acknowledge and thank Carlos Hernandez for being a part of the vision initially and just motivating me and let me know that, you know, do it. Just take the leap of faith and go out there and do it. I want to acknowledge him as well. And yeah, that's that on that. And I'm trying to think, I hope I didn't forget anybody. Did I forget anybody?
I don't think so.
Okay. If I did forget you, just please don't hold it against me. I'm sorry, but you are appreciated as well. All right? So yeah, that's the deal with that.
It's the First Lady point of view. First Lady point of view. You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. First Lady point of view. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. You tuned in. First Lady point of view.